Welcome to Study Medicine. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the deadlines for Australian university degree paths to becoming a doctor for the end of December and through to the end of January 2019, and there's a lot to get through. So first, let's just talk about what study medicine is. Study medicine provides information about 59 Australian university degree paths to becoming a doctor. These degree paths are shown visually. So this enables you to work through all the degrees in Australia and then work out which one of those degrees you're best suited for. You're able to have a look at study medicine information through the free trial that pertains to Macquarie University's medical program at both a summary level and at a detail level. And that shows visually how study medicine works. Of course, study medicine provides information for the 20 Australian universities that have a medical program at both a summary level and at a detail level. If you're interested in more information about how to access study medicine, head into the pricing section and that provides you with all the details. There's of course a free resources section in study medicine, including the deadlines which we're going to go through in a moment. Of course, if you're a school counsellor, it might be helpful for you to provide a link to this free information for both parents and students on either your website or through your newsletter. So let's head into the deadlines as they pertain to the end of December 2018 and through into the end of January 2019 for medical programs in Australia. So this is the listing for this time of the year, and you can see here that the headline for all of this is the undergrads obviously have a very stressful start to the new year with final interviews and offers, and from a graduate point of view it's really just the final mop-up of final paperwork. So you can see I've gone through all of the detail about the deadlines for this month. I won't read through all of that. Let's head straight down into the actual deadline listing, and what I'll do is change screens so we can see this in colour. So the colours that I've used, as I've used in the past: orange for offers, green for interviews and red for deadlines. So let's see what we can see for this time of the year. So you can see already that a number of things are already in train. At the end of November and December, University of Adelaide are well through progressing their interviews. By late December, Monash starts moving into some specific cohort interviews, and at that time they start issuing invitations to people who are on the Dean's Rural list and the Dean's Indigenous list. Monash also, by that stage, at the end of December, are starting to issue offers to Australian-based foundation students as well as overseas-based direct entry students. So once we get into the very end of December, you can see the interviews starting to come aplenty, with the 28th of December for James Cook, and they're sending out invitations to their students. Monash are progressing their direct entry offers for Year 12 applicants, and they're also advising their IB students of interview availability. UTAS are also progressing offers for Year 12 interstate applicants, and there's the first round of offers that are starting to be made to Tasmanian IB applicants. And the reason for why those rounded dates, so January and early January, is because IB offers are released on the 3rd of January. So that's the reason why undergraduate medical applications really get into a bit of a frenzy in January. Basically means that all the results for Year 12, IB and both ATARs are all available to the universities to progress their application reviews for students and to progress through their offers. So you can see here on that basis you start seeing in early January Monash still going through their interviews with progressing through their Dean's list and their Indigenous list interviews on the 3rd through to the 8th of January. And importantly, La Trobe University enter into the medical pathway program with a new degree, the Bachelor of Biomedical Science degree, new to 2019, and they conduct interviews for that program, and that's taking place also on the 3rd to the 7th of January. The La Trobe University program is being conducted in conjunction with the University of Melbourne. By the 4th of January, you see for postgraduate students that students who have a conditional offer are being requested for their documentation. On the 6th of January, you've got a deadline for Western Sydney University to include that medical program in your UAC preferences, and interviews for James Cook University are happening during that time on the 4th of January as well. Continuing the theme of postgraduate paperwork mop-ups, so University of Melbourne is chasing people as a final deadline for any additional information to meet with the conditions that they may have imposed on those students on the 7th of January. Oops, gone too far. And on the 8th of January, you can see further interviews happening for IB students for Monash. From a UTAS perspective, 9th of January sees the deadline for special consideration applications. So if you're thinking of making a special consideration application, that's the deadline that you need to be very mindful of. And then we start heading into the 11th of January, and you see the New South Wales universities all really moving into first round offers for issued through UAC. It's for University of Newcastle, New England, so the Joint Medical Program, New South Wales and Western Sydney University. From the 12th of January, Monash start moving through for interstate applicants, and they're going to advise them of their eligibility to attend an interview. And there's the enrolment deadline on the 13th of January for the postgraduate medical program at the University of Melbourne. And the reason why that is a very strict deadline is, of course, University of Melbourne start their medical program at the end of January. So there's not much time between that enrolment deadline and when they actually commence. In mid-January, you see Monash start making offers through VTAC. They're sending out interviews to, in this stage, to interstate and New Zealand applicants. And New South Wales and UWA then start moving into doing interviews for IB and interstate applicants as well, which all makes perfect sense. Curtin have got a deadline on the 15th of January for change of course preferences for their second round offers. And New South Wales is the final date for when they will accept paperwork, academic result paperwork from international students. USyd have got a deadline for IB and interstate applicants to include their program as a UAC preference. And as we head into the latter part of January, you can see on the 16th of January, the Queensland universities, so Griffith and JCU, start issuing their offers. Curtin then start moving in the latter part of January, 17th of January, to interviews for their second round. And UTAS, who, as we saw before, have already issued their offers, have got their deadline for Year 12 applicants. So that's interesting that they've got a deadline of the 18th of January when some of the other universities are still going through their interviews. By the 18th and 21st of January, you can see a number of interviews happening. The fatefully titled Assessment Day through USyd for IB and interstate applicants on the 21st, and on that same day, New South Wales also do their interviews, the 18th of January of course being an additional date if New South Wales need it for further interviews. Curtin on the 22nd of January send out their second round offers, and on the 22nd of January, James Cook, it's the last day to respond to that offer round. So if you've been lucky enough to get an offer, 22nd of January is the deadline to respond. And when we head into the last part of January, you see that the Monash are still going with their interviews by that stage, round 2 medicine interviews for interstate and New Zealand applicants. as well as some other overseas based domestic applicants, and University of Newcastle, New England Joint Medical Program have got interviews for interstate and interstate non-rural applicants. By the time we head off close to Australia Day, which of course is the 26th of January, the 25th of January sees round 2 offers issued through UAC for U Sydney and U New South Wales. So by that stage it's all over bar the shouting, with the offers all being released. And then finally on the 31st of January you've got the postgraduate program at Bond issuing QTAC applications closing on that date for their medical program. So that takes us through to the end of the deadline listing for Australian medical degree programs for the end of January 2019. As always, the only authoritative information about medical degree application deadlines, medical degree deadlines or medical degree programs is through the university itself or through the application agencies such as UAC and TISC, for example. So make sure you check their websites for the most up-to-date information, but I hope this information has been very helpful to you. As always, safe travels along your path to becoming a doctor, and we'll be in touch next month when we go through the application deadlines again as they pertain to the end of February. Thanks for listening.